What is good? What is up? It's Jordan, or Texans Thoughts, and I'm back with another video. Today we're gonna be breaking down Super Bowl 55 and how the Bucs dominated the Chiefs and got Tom Brady his illustrious 7th ring, further proving that he is the GOAT. But it wasn't all Brady. Give Todd Bowles and that defense their credit, because they made the Chiefs offense look like some high school scrubs. And I'm going to break down how they made adjustments from the Week 12 matchup to put on an all-time defensive performance. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. Now, let's break down the film of Super Bowl 55, because the film don't lie. So how did the Bucs go from allowing 27 points to the Chiefs in their first matchup to just 9 in the Super Bowl? One word: adjustments. In Week 12, they had no answer for Tyreek Hill, and the Chiefs could do what they did best: attack deep. With Jamel Dean injured, Carlton Davis took on the nearly impossible task of covering Hill, and we all know how that went. Davis is a great cornerback, don't get me wrong, but he wins with size and physicality while lacking speed and agility, so Hill was literally the worst matchup for him. What made it even more impossible for Davis was the fact that Bowles had the Bucs primarily in single high all of the first half, and that gave Tyreek Hill his one-on-one matchups with cornerbacks with no safety for Mahomes to worry about over top. Tyreek killed man coverage all night, but even on the plays that Davis was in good position, which was rare, it didn't seem to matter. Hill just had his number. So the Bucs tried to switch from their man coverage looks to zone and still stay in their single high looks, but that didn't work either. One safety deep just wasn't it. They even made the idiotic mistake of leaving Tyreek uncovered at the line of scrimmage, and Hill amassed 7 catches for 203 yards in the first quarter alone, helping the Chiefs score 17 of their 27 in Week 12. But what most people missed is that the Bucs actually made the adjustment that would win them the Super Bowl back in the second half of that first matchup. Bowles knew that they couldn't just sit in single high, and their 2 high looks did much better throughout the game to stop the deep ball, slowing down the Chiefs offense and only allowing 7 second half points. So Bowles already knew what the game plan had to be, and in the Super Bowl the Cheetah was tamed and locked up, only totaling 7 catches for 73 yards, most of which came when it was already a 2-possession game. With Jamel Dean back in the lineup, he has the physicality to press Hill, but also the speed to not get completely blown by. But Bowles didn't want to just rely on Dean, especially when he knew the Chiefs would adjust by getting Hill off of Dean and into the slot for a better matchup. So when this happened, Bowles adjusted himself and played those 2 high defenses an insane 84% of the time. And that made it infinitely easier to double team Hill and take away the deep shots that killed the Bucs in the first matchup. They did great to show Mahomes different looks. Pre-snap here it looks like a cover 1 blitz, but post-snap they roll to a cover 2 man with the 3-man rush and Devin White as a spy on Mahomes. This was a huge adjustment by Bowles, and they played cover 2 man 18% of the time, not just relying on their zones like they did during Week 12. With that pass breakup versus Kelce, let's talk about how the Bucs slowed him down too. He might have had the quietest 10 catches for 133 yards ever. It was actually better than the stats he had in the first matchup, but while Mahomes didn't target Kelce as much in Week 12, he was much more dominant when he did. He was a ridiculous 21 out of 23 for 351 yards when targeting either Kelce or Hill in Week 12. So what went wrong initially? Well, the Bucs ran a ton of zone like I said, and Kelce is just too good at finding the holes. It was like taking candy from a baby, and in the Super Bowl, Bowles was willing to give the Chiefs those same looks for Kelce at first. Because if he could hold Kelce to 83 yards again, but lock down Hill, that would be a win, right? So they sprinkled in zone coverages, and it's what led to the Chiefs' most successful drive of the game. They didn't force the deep ball versus the 2 high looks, but just took the underneath passes and stayed patient. I don't know why Andy Reid didn't do this more often. It would have helped mask another huge issue on offense that we'll get to in a second, but the Chiefs operated with a level of cockiness all year long, thinking that they could ease their way through the regular season and instantly kick it into top gear for the Super Bowl. They were wrong. Another thing that changed from the first matchup to the Super Bowl was just how often the Bucs blitzed. On the year, they were one of the most aggressive defenses, blitzing at 40%, the fourth highest in the NFL, and the Chiefs killed them on those looks, getting the ball out quickly and capitalizing on the fewer defenders in coverage. And that was the next main adjustment Bowles made, blitzing far less in the Super Bowl, just 10.7% of the time. Again, these cover 2 man looks were their most effective. Instead of using soft zones versus Kelce, they adjusted and Lavonte David was given the tough task of one-on-one man coverage more and more as the game went on. What makes Kelce so special is his blend of size, strength, and athleticism. But there may not be a better defender in the league than Lavonte David to match those traits. He made sure to get physical with Kelce, throwing off his breaks, and he also had the speed to recover back into the catch point. It can't be emphasized enough just how rare this is for a linebacker to be able to do this. And Lavonte was on Kelce like glue. If I was handing out the MVP, it would unpopularly go to 2 defenders in Lavonte David and Shaq Barrett. Barrett and that defensive line was a huge reason for the Bucs' success. What made these 2 high shells and the lack of blitzing work was the fact that the Bucs were able to consistently get pressure by just rushing 4. They pressured Mahomes on 29 of his 49 dropbacks, good for 59%. On this sack, Barrett's going to use a chop rip, where he chops down on the outside hand of poor Mike Remmers, and then rips with his inside hand to disengage from the block. He's going to be swimming in cash this offseason. Now, sacks aren't everything, and although Barrett only had 1, he lived in the backfield with 8 pressures. Mahomes was constantly on the run, running a ridiculous 497 yards before passes. Yeah, 497. I didn't think that was real either, but it was. And for whatever the reason, Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy, they didn't adjust to the Bucs D-line dominating their O-line. They stayed in 5-man protections 92% of the time. And I get wanting your running back to run a route and give Pat more options versus the 7 defenders in coverage, but at least chip the edges and help out your 2 backup tackles. Their stubbornness left Mahomes to run 20 yards backwards just to avoid Barrett and co. So we know how Todd Bowles and the Bucs defense shut down what seemed like a dynasty of a Chiefs offense. But the Bucs were a balanced team, putting up 31 on offense. So what was Byron Leftwich and Tom Brady's game plan? The game plan of every offense that was propped up by an elite defense. Run the rock, run it some more, and then use play action to punish an aggressive defense. Super Bowl Lenny was in full force, running hard, not going down on first contact, and looking to get paid himself. The Bucs won the trenches on both sides of the ball, paving the way for Fournette and Jones to have super efficient days. Both running backs picked up extra yardage that wasn't blocked for them, and you could tell they were hungry for their rings. The Chiefs' defense was forced to play these runs aggressively, so when the Bucs called play action, the Chiefs looked wildly caught off guard. They're going to fake the inside zone to Lenny and have Gronk run in the opposite direction for the easy catch and run. It's really a basic staple of most offenses. Get the front 7 moving in one direction on the run fake and get your weapons in space towards the other direction. I'm totally here for the Gronk redemption arc, and his second touchdown of the night was vintage Brady Gronk connection. Again off play action, this time Gronk is running a corner route, but the DB does a good job to stay in phase, and Gronk isn't done yet. He raises his hand indicating to Tom he's cutting inside, but Brady already knows what's going to happen and starts his throw before Gronk has even planted his feet to cut. That chemistry, all these years later, is still there. Wow. The last touchdown off play action was a beauty. Originally, the Chiefs looked pretty prepared to stop AB on this pivot route, but these 2 defenders get sucked into the run fake and are completely lost when they realize it's a pass. Killer route by AB, and Tyrann Mathieu stood no chance. The Bucs were locked down on defense and played it simple but executed damn near perfectly on offense. They were a perfect example of when talent, coaching, and execution all comes together to dethrone the reigning champs. I hope the Chiefs learn that they can't just coast through a regular season, having a year-long Super Bowl hangover and not fixing their very obvious flaws, and still expect to hoist the Lombardi. This is chess, not checkers, and this game was a film fanatic's dream. You earned it, Bucs. Alright, that's gonna do it for the video. If you enjoyed, please do hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. I'm excited for the offseason to kick off and expect more videos on free agency and the draft. Games may be gone, but the breakdowns will continue. Take care, everyone. Come back for more, and remember, the film don't lie.